How's Fallout going, bro? Did I miss anything?
Nah, I've played a little bit of Nuclear Winter, Woodchill and Brian, and Demented, and then Trizzle joined while we were playing a couple of those games, and so I really haven't done much. Then you joined in during our deep state discussion.
I'm about to smash this whole computer, man.
But yeah, Trizzle, if you did create a Twitter feed, I could, when I do find all this information, I can forward it, you know, so that you can look into it. And if you don't want to, I mean, I'm not telling you what to do. If you want to know, and that was one of the things I was reading too, is the choice to know will be yours. You know? Because a lot of these things are unbelievable when you first come out. You know, it sounds like a big conspiracy. The word conspiracy was actually formulated, well, not entirely, but became a thing when JFK was assassinated, and anybody who questioned it was called a conspiracist, and, you know, somebody who believes in conspiracy theories. Well, look at how that proved out to be, if you know anything about what happened to JFK. I mean, just looking at that alone, you see that there were people behind the screens, and you start to see the deep state's involvement.
Yeah, again, we're not in a disagreement there. The thing we're in disagreement is that you think that our president is not a part of that.
Yes, I do. And it's because of all the information I've looked into.
Again, so I'm looking into this, what was her name? Something News?
War News?
War News.
Yeah.
We're going through some of her threads, which is pointing at all of these journalists that got in trouble for helping to basically get the DNC to rig the election.
Okay.
That's one of the things we were talking about, how they like rigged the election so that Hillary could win. All these journalists.
That's a good dig. Yeah, she's got a lot of good digs. And yeah. I'm not certain if that one is actually in War News, but that's one that is a pretty good resource.
So, I'm searching all of these journalists that supposedly got all of these charges against them. None of them got any charges against them.
Which ones are you looking for?
Every one. I'm searching them one by one. I got a whole list here. I'm reading through the thread. We got Ken Thomas, Seditious Conspiracy, Enrico, Lisa Lair, Seditious Conspiracy,
so
Enrico.
if you go through her whole dig, she might reference she might be referencing the indictments that are still sealed. So when people are under investigation for crimes, they're not arrested right away. They're not charged right away. They're investigated thoroughly. And then there are indictments, and some of those indictments are held for a long period of time within the justice system before the indictments are unsealed. So they
So how
may
would you have
have
this
already
list
the indictment list. Um,
How would you have a list of all of these people being indicted if I can't look at it?
that's a complicated thing that I don't exactly know where to
It's
start.
very suspicious that she has a list of all these journalists that are supposedly pro-Democrat, and that have all these charges against them, yet I can't find any information about that online. And when I Google all of these people with the charges that they have, the only sources that come up are this war news sources. So she's the only person on the internet that has these charges against these people.
Give me a name.
That's crazy. Just type in
What's
like
up,
random
Carter? How you
person
doing,
here.
bro?
What's this lady's name?
I'll play some
lady.
Black Ops 2 here in a bit.
April Ryan. Type in April Ryan seditious conspiracy.
Okay, I've got an answer for you. You may not like it. You may not agree with it.
Try to find a team for Barry.
Okay, let's see if I'm losing my thought here.
If you can try to find a team for
There
Barry, bro,
is-
that'd be awesome.
Like when I went back and I told you that the military got involved with President Trump's election. There's a difference between the military and
Wrong
government,
character.
right? The president is commander-in-chief of the military, but the government is more encompassing. It involves things like what we were talking about earlier, the Pentagon and politics and so forth, right? Political people. So that's where your government separates from the military and the commander-in-chief. So a lot of these groups, these secret society groups, the Illuminati, the Knights Templar, there's other ones too. What's the skull one? I don't even know. Maybe it's just called Skull and Bones. That I think George Bush was involved in. Yeah, which George Bush was involved in that one.
Yeah.
All of these tie back to this more ancient one that I was telling you about, and the learned protocols of the Elders of Zion ties into that group. That goes further back, I believe, and I could be wrong about the dates because I don't remember when the dates of the Knights Templar actually was. It's completely wiped from my memory at the moment. Was that before or after the 1600s?
Way before.
That was before. Okay, so that Knights Templar would actually be before the learned Elders of Zion. So that's what branched out into that group. But that group goes even further back, all the way back to the Canaanites. And they were always after, especially, had a deep hatred for Jewish people and Christians. And because of what they're directly tied into, that comes together. The cult that they are involved in is what the cabal of today is involved in. And a lot of them are members of different satanic groups. Now this is getting real deep and you're really going to think I'm crazy. But, oh man, if you were on Twitter, I could send you some stuff and you could look it up.
Yeah, I can look up anything on Twitter.
Do you know about the Queen of England was charged in court along with members of, or popes of the Vatican, for being associated with the Ninth Circle? And do you know what the Ninth Circle is?
Yeah.
You do? Did you say yeah?
Yeah, I've heard of it before.
Yeah. It's a satanic cult that does blood sacrifice rituals. That's how deeply entrenched this is, and that's how this whole thing that I've been telling you about dates all the way back to history to the Canaanites, because that's what they were involved in. So from that group, it spun all through history. That sounds crazy, I know, and I'd be skeptical too, sitting where you're at. And when I started getting people telling me different things, I was the same way.
First off, again, we're not differentiating on the history of the Illuminati. That's not what we're differentiating. I don't want to argue with you on that because I definitely know a lot about that. It sounds like potentially more than you know about the Illuminati because it's very deep in history. It goes back thousands of years. and all about
What you'll
that.
recognize?
The difference is Trump is not fighting that organization. He is being controlled by that organization. That's where we're differentiating, and you haven't been able to show me anything that says otherwise. No offense, but I haven't been able to find anything that you're talking about.
Okay, so getting back to...
And you keep saying if I had Twitter, I'm literally looking at all of War News's threads on Twitter without having Twitter. I can look up anything on Twitter you want to present to me. The other thing I'm noticing in all of these, or most of these War News threads, is that they all have hashtag QAnon. I don't know if you know much about QAnon, but it's definitely a conspiracy theory driven group.
Yeah, but what is a conspiracy theory? Explain what a conspiracy theory is. Something that doesn't go with mainstream media? Something that doesn't go with the norm?
No. Conspiracy is just a group of people secretly planning something. So if I were to get together with my friends and plan a surprise birthday party for another friend, that'd be a conspiracy. I know what a conspiracy is. Now, a conspiracy theory is when you think that somebody else is conspiring against something. So you think that somebody else is conspiring, but you don't know. That is a theory you have about it. Now, if you can present information or evidence about the conspiracy, you can bust the conspiracy open. Then it's no longer a theory. Then it's a proven conspiracy. We have many of those, like the Bay of Pigs in Cuba.
I agree with you.
When we planned on bombing our own ship and killing a bunch of people.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from, and I agree with you.
So I know what a conspiracy theory is. Now, what I'm saying about QAnon is a conspiracy theory-driven group, which is providing all of these different conspiracies and trying to lump them into this one story, which doesn't line up.
Do you know how many millions of people are following QAnon? Not just in the United States, but globally?
Do you know how many billions of people believe in God?
That's not a... And those are two different things.
It just shows how gullible people are in what they believe.
Like I said, it's easier to fool someone than it is to convince them that they've been fooled.
Very true, which is why I'm not surprised that millions of people believe in QAnon. It's very easy to fool people.
Well, can you prove that they're just
Again,
a conspiracy
I'm looking for
group?
proof on what they're saying, and I'm looking at all of these threads, and I'm looking at all of these things.
Do you understand what I'm saying? I mean, you're making an accusation that they're a conspiracy group, and you want me to give you all this evidence. What evidence can you give me that they're just a conspiracy group? What proves that they're just a conspiracy group? Because there is no leader of the group. Supposedly the leader is somebody in the president's office. So based off of information that
some people think it's President Trump.
So basically off of information you've gotten secondhand, you're telling me that they're a conspiracy group.
Well, your question was, why do I think they're a conspiracy group? And I said, because there's no leader. The person is supposedly
and I'm pointing out the reason that you believe that they're a conspiracy group is because of things you've gotten secondhand. Information you've gotten secondhand. Have you looked into it?
How would I get information firsthand from an anonymous person?
They give digs, Drizzle.
QAnon is an anonymous person in the government. You're familiar with who QAnon is. It's a person, right?
It's more than just one.
No, it's a person in the government, anonymous person who's leaking information from the White House. That's who QAnon
Based off of information that you've gotten secondhand.
This whole group of people that are following QAnon are following information from one anonymous person.
And everything that they have given.
They don't even know who they're following.
All of the information that has come out through QAnon has proved to be factual.
None of this is proved to be factual. I haven't been able to find any of it.
And like I said, if you had Twitter,
Twitter,
I'd be able to give you stuff that you can...
Reading through War Nurse's threads. Give me another thread to read through.
Well, man, I've gone on with you for a long time.
Again, I'm willing to look it up. I have Twitter open on my Google right now. I can look up anything you want to send me.
You're signed into Google?
I'm on Google.
Or, I mean, you're signed into Twitter?
No, you don't need to be signed into Twitter to look up people's Twitter threads. I'm reading through War Nurse's Twitter threads right now. Still reading through them. Still haven't found anything substantial.
Well, I mean, it'd be like I've argued so many times, and I'm done arguing. Like I said, the choice is people's. If they want to know, the choice is theirs. You know, if you want to create a Twitter account I could give you feeds. You can do your own research, but
I just don't get why
I can't present all these things all at once. Like I said earlier,
yeah, that's absolutely fine. One thing would be fine. I don't need all of them.
Okay, one thing I gave you Kevin Kleinsmith. Okay, but a lot of stuff you're gonna have to dig into yourself. So I could give you feeds. You can cross-check them, fact-check them, all that stuff.
But it's much easier.
It's much easier if this is gonna take time, and I didn't get it all at once. All the stuff that I'm telling you is stuff from digs that I've taken a lot of time, and I can't just present everything to you. So, but I could make it easier by finding these things and sending you the information, and then you can fact check it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm willing to do that.
Yeah, I mean, again, I looked up Kevin Kleinsmith. Says that he pleaded guilty to a crime that he committed.
Yeah, he's directly involved with. I mean, I can only tell you at this point whether you accept it or not. I mean, I don't blame you for being skeptical, but it's going to take digging into it and looking up information. And then you'll see everything that's happened to General Flynn. You'll be able to see why they're holding him up, how it involves the deep state, and it's part of their agenda to keep him held up until after the election. Because if they don't, he's got information that will take them all down. That's why Trump chose him as his national security advisor in the first place.
If he had information that could take them all down, why would holding him up in court prevent him from releasing that information?
Because if you're being held up in court, you can't present another case. You have to prove, or you have to be dismissed from that case before you can file anything else.
Yeah, but he could still just release any information he wanted.
Okay.
There's nothing stopping me from sending an email to somebody.
These people are in power for a reason. They get people knocked off. People have been assassinated. These are not people that you just throw out information and think everything's going to be okay, because they'll kill you.
Again, I'm well aware of that, which is why I'm saying that anybody that's actually trying to stop this from happening gets killed. So there's people that are look at Epstein. Epstein got caught. And he got killed because they were afraid of the information he was going to release.
Exactly.
So they killed him.
Because that will take down the deep state. Epstein is deeply rooted into that.
So why has Trump not been killed yet? Because he's working for them.
No. You're not giving me factual data to prove that either. I'm just pointing that out.
He's killing tens of thousands of people a year.
No, that's secondhand information. You haven't proved that either. You're just saying that.
I told you to look it up. I told you how to look it up. I told you can look it up. You haven't
I'm
done
done
it
arguing
yet.
with you.
You haven't. I've looked up everything that you've told me to look up. I don't think you've looked
you just want to argue.
Thing.
You don't even want this information. So
now you're not even agreeing with me, because I have been looking all this up. I'm still looking.
What did you tell me that proves that Trump is killing a bunch of people? And have you even looked into his peace treaties they just signed? I'm not going to argue with somebody who isn't going to dig into it and look for himself and just says a bunch of shit. I think that's stupid.
I've already done this. Now you're denying what I'm saying that I haven't done the research on my end for what I'm saying.
No, you're making accusations based off of.
Yes, I'm making accusations against the president.
You want me to give you all these factual things? Give me something to look at on that.
Yes, and I did.
Who's he killed?
I told you what to look up.
Who is he killed?
I told you to look up how much we spend on a military budget every year.
I know, but that doesn't just involve Trump. That
what did I walk into?
Yes, and that's what I've been saying. Every president is guilty of this. Obama,
and what I'm telling you is the people that have taken on the deep state.
They're all guilty of killing tens of thousands of people every year because they're guilty in compliance. They get into position. They
hasn't taken us into war the entire time he's been in office, and that's one of the reasons why he walked into his presidency. Exactly, not started by President Trump.
And Trump
he's pulling our troops out. Why don't you look that up?
Okay, so why are we still bombing 50,000 people a year?
Who are we bombing, Trizzle?
All over the place. We drop 50,000
Tell me
bombs
one.
a year. Tell you one: Iran, Iraq, Lebanon, Kuwait, Libya. I can keep naming them, bro. We drop them every single day all over the world. We're killing tens of thousands of people a year. Trump has been doing that for the past 3 years. He has not
No,
stopped.
he hasn't.
He has not pressed the stop button.
Yeah,
He might have pulled
disagree.
troops out. That's great. But most of the
not only has
bombs
he
that are-
pulled troops
most of the
out, but he
bombs-
stopped the wars between
most of the bombs
the
that are being
Israelis
dropped-
and its surrounding
So you're still not
neighbors
looking
that they
up
have
our fire
had.
to look up and how many people we kill, and that we have a 98%
I mean, if you want to hold that,
casualty
and
rate.
if that's what you want to believe, you're entitled to that, bro. You
It's
can
facts.
stick with that if you want to.
It's
But if that's what
facts.
you want to believe, then that's what you're going to believe.
I believe the facts. That's true.
Well, then look up his peace treaties with Israel and everything too. You
We've
didn't.
been at peace
I
with
mean, see,
Israel
you're one of
for
those
like-
people that don't want to give anybody any credit.
We've been at peace
You know,
with
because
Israel
you-
for 20 years.
No,
We
they have
have- we have-
endless wars
Israel-
in the Middle
Israel-
East, and that's not what I'm saying, and you know it. He's signing peace treaties between Israel and their surrounding neighbors that they've been in endless wars with for years. That everybody
Yeah.
said would never end.
Israel and Pakistan have been trying to sign peace treaties for 20 years also. If they're close to signing one, great. But I don't know what actual influence Trump is having on those signatures.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, they're coming to the White House. 4 of those leaders in the Middle East that have never been able to have peace in all these years, and they're signing peace treaties Monday. Want to fact check that? And then give the man credit for doing something like that. That's why he's getting this prize or whatever it's called. Being nominated for the, you know what I'm talking about. And he's undoing everything that Obama put in place. And the Clintons. And they are deeply corrupt. And if you can't see by him making moves on those to change those things and turn those back around as being taken on the deep state, and you think he's controlled by the deep state, something's wrong.
If he wasn't being controlled by the deep state, he would have gotten shot.
They want to kill him. His life is threatened right now. It's all over. It's all over the media. Madonna's come out. Various different people, political people have come out. Biden came